Two. Hi there. Good day, everyone. This is Irfan again, your clarity coach. And today we have an amazing human being on this podcast with me today. And I have known this human being, this amazing, beautiful soul, for almost 4 years now. So, before we start, for people who are tuning in for the first time and who don't know me, let me tell you who I am and what this podcast is about. So Irfan Nurani is my name. I'm a clarity coach. I've been doing work in the area of human transformation, life transformation for the last 4 years. And the objective of this podcast is to help people realize their potential, get clarity, and help them to move forward. And with this insight or with this intention in mind, I connect with a lot of amazing individuals from all around the world. And with today, we have an amazing human being who's from UK. Her name is Neela Gohil. She is an amazing person, which as I mentioned to you, I've met her 4 years ago, pretty much. And Neela has done some phenomenal work. She has been a corporate human resource person for the last number of years, and she has done some global leadership training and development in UK for about 14 years. And she has impacted thousands of people's lives worldwide across UK, Europe, India, Russia, and her clients are from some of the biggest companies in corporate domain as well in India or in UK, right? She has also been associated with Finishing School, Sky TV, health clubs, schools and saloons, wellness spas worldwide, and Neela herself has overcome a lot of emotional roller coaster journeys, which have been continuously come up in her life as challenges. And Neela is well trained in hundreds of modalities and strategies and tools in the area of human transformation, which has enabled her not only to heal herself, but resolve a lot of issues for a lot of people around the globe. Now, Neela, welcome to the Conversations with Clarity Coach or Clarity Man Irfan podcast. How are you this afternoon?
Hey, Irfan, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I don't think I've ever been introduced in that way.
I was thinking I missed a few things, because I'm sure you're much more than the introduction part, and hence I really wanted to get into a conversation with you to see how we can impact with this conversation thousands of people who are listening out there, who may be going through certain challenges, or maybe who may be looking for answers for a situation that they are in. And you are one of the best person that I've come across. So I thought,
thank
why
you.
not?
That's very kind. It's wonderful to be here. And of course, I'll do my best, to share some of this wisdom with you.
Sure. So, Neela, I know, I wanted this conversation not only for all the people, but, for me to even understand a few things that, I know we have not discussed a lot of things in this area, because, I know you have so much more than, there are, like you say, there is much more in the book than the cover,
Yeah.
So I want to know a little bit more about you as well. How this transformation journey came about in your life, and where did you, like, what was a turning point in your life that allowed you to understand that there is much more to life, and I have to transform and heal, and I want to go out in this journey, amazing journey of transforming people's life. What made you come to this point, basically?
Yeah, so I have quite a huge story, but let's just start with death, shall we? Because I believe, I know it's a topic not many people want to talk about, but that's where my actual journey started.
Okay.
And I think it's a lessons from death, and specifically my mother, who I lost to cancer at a very young age.
Oh, God.
I think that's where my turning point started, because I think death can teach you many things, and it also opens you up in your questioning. At that time, you wake up and it's like a wake up call, right?
Yeah.
Whether you've had a death of somebody around you, it makes you wonder, what is the purpose of life? Why am I here? What happens after death? And I think that's when I went on my inner healing journey to discover what is life then?
Right.
Because obviously, I think in my case, I've had a lot of things in my life where I've had to face near-death situations as well. I mean, I've had 3 near-death experiences in my life,
Wow.
really woken me up to life. Something that I do now is called inspirational life. You know, how do you live an inspirational life rather
Inspirational.
than, yeah.
Right.
So inspirational, you know, just so
Right.
that I can explain to the listeners,
Sure.
it's all about how do you have an inspired idea that
Right.
comes into your life, and then how do you then take action on it. And a
Right.
lot of it is I'm writing a book, and I go more into that and how you can also have that kind of life. So I feel I'm
Wow.
somebody who's already kind of living that kind of life, but there are certain skills and tools that we need to learn so that we can have that kind of life.
Yes, of course. And you mentioned about your book as well, so I don't want to miss on that. But I am sure that your book is going to be full of insights and understanding of how you went through your journey. And so tell me, when is your book coming out, and what is it? If you have to summarize, what is it about, the book?
Yeah, so the book really is written to serve my readers, really to inspire them to really move closer to discovering who they really are.
Hmm.
Because I think there's just so much uncertainty and change in the world. You know,
Yeah.
you just got to take a look around you. So I'm somebody, I believe it's essential for people to really understand how they can navigate through life,
True.
you know, with confidence, and really tap into love, because
Hmm.
I think love is the basis of everything. And
True.
that will really help you to build a bridge to, you know, creating more happiness and harmonious relationships.
Right.
Because I think the reason why I do what I do is because of my own relationship journey as well. And it's really opened me up. And
Yeah.
I've realized, you know, a lot of my clients come to me, you know, they're not confident, they want more love, they're always searching for something, you know,
Yeah.
connection, what life is. And so I really help them to tap into themselves.
Right. Right. Amazing. I remember my journey. Uh, Completely lost, confused as growing up. And how life throws these things at you in situations, and like a wake-up call in your case, when you see your mom going through the incident that you mentioned. And I went through a lot of challenges, not knowing what needs to be done, how will I figure it out. I was pretty young, and
Yes.
there are a lot of turmoil in my personal world. Relationships were falling apart because we had fights in the house, because of the property issues. My father is not around because he had passed away when I was 2, so no one is standing for us to take our share and stuff. And there's so many challenges that I show. But during that confused and that state of not knowing what to do, actually, that how beautiful it is today that I'm a clarity coach, because I saw a certain point in my life that I had no one to ask these important questions and know what next. And today I get to inspire, because maybe there was that point that I went through, and shaped my character during that time. Shaped. So it's really vital, I think, for us. When we go through this journey, how we look at it, what are we taking out of it, and creating something beautiful and magical with love. Of course, you said that the most important ingredient in the dish of life, let's put it this way, is the love. You need to have love. And that's a beautiful message. I'm sure your book is going to be phenomenal. And I hope to look forward to your book as well. I'm sure there'll be it's going to be on Amazon and Flipkart and everywhere. That's one thing. So Neela, I want to also ask you, like, from your experience, like, every single time, like, you have gone through, not once, you said 3 near death experiences, and then you have seen your mom as well, right? So if I ask you, like, what has changed for you uh, before that incident, that when you saw your mom, from that point to now, like, how do you see life, and what were you seeing then, what is different that you're seeing right now?
So what's different to then is I guess, there was a lot of pain in my life. And I think a lot of people, we are only human. And like you say, life throws certain challenges towards us, and it can make us go through those painful times. But I believe we don't stay in that pain. We have to break free of that pain at some level. And also look into living a life of joy, You know, what is it that you feel that you have real pleasure in? You know, take pleasure in life. You know,
Yeah.
what are the lessons it's offering you? Because life is not happening, you know, to us, it's happening for us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's where I woke up. It's like, oh God, this isn't happening to me, because if I say that, I'm being a victim. So
Right.
I realized, you know, on my inner journey, you know, and seeking and what life is all about, that's
Yeah.
what I realized,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
actually, wow, this is such a gift and a blessing. So when I
Exactly.
sort of, I just stopped and it was
Right.
reflecting on, so what is this teaching me now? You know, what's great about this,
Yeah.
rather than, oh God, this is tragic,
True.
what's
True.
happened. And, you know, what was great about my mother dying is it awoken me up. You know, I
Wow.
took everything she offered life, and I have some of her great qualities. My mother was an amazing woman. I mean,
Sure.
she died in her early 40s,
Oh.
and she was in a very you know, turbulent marriage. And it was a hard decision for her to, you know, get divorced and, you know, keep the reputation up and look after the kids and
Mm.
all of that. And I've just learned that actually, you know, when I watched my mother's journey as well, she was such a happy soul. You know, she would light up a room,
Wow.
and I thought, wow. So I think a lot of, you know, what we're taught when we're younger is on the role models that we're given, right? Whether it's our
Yeah.
parents, our primary carers, our teachers, and that gets instilled within. So I just took the good things from that rather than the bad experiences. I looked at that and thought, well, what can I take from this,
Right.
you know, that would
Right.
help me in my life? And that's how I got through.
Right. So you remove the elements that were not helping you progress and heal yourself, rather than you focused on the things and elements that would heal yourself, not only heal yourself, but propel you to this beautiful journey of going out there and passing on this amazing message and transforming other people's life.
Yeah, because, you know, one thing I've really learned along life is, you know, memories, we all have them, right? We
Yeah.
can look at our memories, then they will actually take you back in your life.
Yeah.
And they may even bring up some really, you know, painful emotions and everything. But it's the dreams that actually take you forward.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. And unless you have a powerful dream and you
Oh
keep
yes.
having that imagination open and you say, well, what is it? Okay, this has happened now. What can I learn from it? And now what do I want to do in my life?
Yeah. True.
And if
So
we
true.
have a, yeah, if we have a focus there, it kind of gives us that clarity to
Yeah.
break through and say, right, okay, so this is my dream now, and then just keep focusing on it.
Yeah, I so connect with what you are telling me right now, Neela. It reminds me of my time. As I mentioned to you, right, we went through a lot of challenges. All the properties were, taken away and, distributed among uncles and aunts, and we got some little amount, and then we went through a turmoil. We lost our house, we lost everything, right? And
Yeah,
one of my dream that actually, I'm getting a little emotional here,
that's
that
okay.
actually drove me like a horse, right, was to buy a house for my mom, right? And
Beautiful. Yeah.
that is exactly what was a driving force that helped me to not only actually have an amazing life, but travel the world. I traveled the
Yeah.
world and met some amazing, amazing people in this journey. And
Yeah.
it is important. I think you have made a very important point that each and every one of us has something that we look forward to, and if we don't have it, life is like it's boring. It's like, you need to have something to look forward, and actually that drove me like as I said, as a horse, and I was able to achieve that within a certain span of time. And yeah, that is amazing.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Irfan, because that
you're
is, you know,
most.
it's great to hear that, you know, and that's why I'm saying, you know, that that emotion comes because you have a powerful why, you have a
Yeah.
powerful reason, and you
Yeah.
know, my powerful reason is, you know, I believe I'm here to really help people, you know, become more loving, have more harmony, connection,
Yeah.
and you know, and having looked at my own journey and working with thousands of people worldwide, I see, you know, that's the biggest thing. So it's my vision, my mission that keeps me going.
Amazing.
And I
Amazing.
actually really love life, and you know me,
Oh
Irfan,
yes. Oh
we've
yes.
hung out, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually
100%.
just today I put a quote,
Right.
can I share this quote on my,
Yeah. Sure.
from
Sure.
6 years ago, and it says life is a journey. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not to arrive safely in a well presented body, but rather to skid in sideways, totally worn out, shouting, "Holy shit, what a ride!" So
What an
yeah.
amazing one. I love it.
That's what life should be, right? And that's
Exactly.
how I treat my life. I'll go out
Exactly.
there, I'll take action, I'll have a laugh, I'll
Yeah.
step into the unknown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are very fearful of that because, again, it depends what model of the world you've come from,
Yeah. Exactly.
and where
And
are you?
and
Yeah.
and and funny you say that, because every time I see you, it's like, I've been anchored to a certain feeling that, wow, it's happiness, joy, a smile, something like that, and it's phenomenal, right? You know what? And that is exactly what we are here for, right? To spread what we have and give and grow, basically. But you know what,
Yes.
Neela, I want to ask you a very important question, but I think you'll be the best person to answer this, because the number of times you went through a certain emotional roller coaster ride, as you mentioned. See,
Yes.
because what I realized, even when I went through a certain thing in my life, when you are in that space, or in that, like, let's call it the ditch or the well, you can't
Yes.
see the bigger picture when
Yes.
you are there. At some point you realize, but you need like a hand, you need like a voice, or you need like some wisdom, some guidance at times, for someone to come out of that ditch, right? For a person to see through the way, there are a handful few who can, on themselves, able to see through the light, or get enlightened. So the point I'm making and asking you a question is, basically, if someone is there in that situation right now, listening to a conversation, right? Or if someone is in a tough spot, maybe the kids doesn't listen to him, and the person is very upset or fuming, or the manager is bothering him, or he or she is going through a tough relationship, or maybe money is a challenge. It's a constant, like a hamster wheel, the person is running, but not able to make more money and stuff, in a tough spot. What are the
Yes.
things a person could start doing, to come out, or maybe, start feeling this love and positivity, so that, the person can do something about it and take certain action? So what are the couple of steps that you think, as a coach, you would direct someone to start
Yes.
coming out of it, basically?
Yeah, so sure, I mean, you can't see the light without the darkness anyway.
True.
You have to go through that darkness. That's actually the key to you unlocking that light within you.
Yeah.
Because when I sit with somebody, I always will ask them, where are you now? Where do you want to get to? And what's blocking you, right? So
True.
that's the first area we will look at, is what is it that's stopping you from achieving this light in your life?
Right.
And then from there, people will start opening up. And I think the biggest thing here that I've learned is acceptance.
Mm.
When you can come in true
True.
acceptance of what's going on, and you have an awareness of
Right.
what your belief is, what's driving you at the core
Right.
for living this life that you're living, I think then you can have a massive breakthrough.
Right.
Then you can start realizing some key insights that, gosh, it's because I behave in this way, or I
Mm.
have a belief that, I'm not good enough, or life is miserable, or whatever it is.
Right.
No
Right.
wonder my life is this, because you get what you attract, right?
True. True.
you
True. True.
you are who you become, who you would even surround yourself with.
Right. Right.
And if you're going to have like these beliefs that are holding you back. But I think, for me, I think life is a very fragile thing, because we must never, I mean, like I talked about death, it can all be over in a day, without, in a moment's notice. So I think we have to be gentle with ourselves. And a lot of people will say, oh, just avoid the pain, don't go there.
Right. Right.
They don't want to face what's really there. And I'm somebody who will actually hold my clients and the space for them, so
Mm.
they can actually process their emotions. That,
Right.
because that's who I mean, emotions aren't who they are. That's, of
Exactly.
course, they come and go.
Exactly.
But it's very vital that they get that, understanding. They learn how to embrace their emotions and learn the lessons,
Right.
because a lot of the breakthroughs that have happened are just simply by people, releasing that guilt or that anger, or
Sure.
whatever it is, and then they have a massive breakthrough, and then they can, you know, the situation may still be the same, the memories, but
Yeah.
their actual, the way they handle it is much more healthier. They come out
Awesome.
healthier.
Awesome. Awesome. So, if I have to summarize the answer, what you just gave me is basically the most important step that you said is, just wherever you are, just become aware of your situation,
Yes,
accept the things that you can't change,
sure,
right?
yeah.
So become aware, accept what is the reality, and from that point onwards, look at what is in my way, like an obstacle that you mentioned, that what is stopping you, what needs to change, or what needs to be removed from your way, so that you are able to make some
Yeah,
progress or
because
moved in a certain direction.
no, people will always come to me and they want me to fix their partner. That's normally the one, you know, my
Yeah,
husband or my
yeah.
wife.
I'll
Can you
take a
just
separate
fix
call for
them?
that. I'll take a separate call
Yeah.
for that.
And I quite often, it's so funny because it's like, actually, you know, change starts with you. Let's work on you first.
Exactly.
So like you say, you know, we have to take responsibility and
Right.
accept what we can't change.
Right. Right. Amazing. And I think you do it beautifully well. That's why people call you the relationship breakthrough coach. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
true.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome, awesome. And we
thank
had some
you.
great conversations, while we all three were there with my wife as well. We had some certain
Yeah,
conversation during
I did.
time in Goa.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's amazing. You gave some amazing, amazing pieces of wisdom, Neela. And I really wanted to pick your brain for that. And I thank God I did, because a lot of people listening out there would get the benefit out of it, right? So so tell me something. If you spoke a lot about the emotional release. I think one of your major strength as a coach as well is to help people realize there are certain emotions or certain things that they're holding on or they've suppressed. Again, in that area, what is the one or two steps that you can tell us that people should not be in that space of having this bad emotions or suppressed emotion. What can they do? Because I'll tell you why I'm asking this question, right?
Yes.
I'll tell you the background of it, because again, as you know, I told you that my father had passed away at a very early age. My mom, of course, living in this joint family, in an Indian cultural joint family, a lot of things went on. She had to suppress a lot of things, and she had to go through certain situations, for her to raise 5 kids single-handedly and still be with the joint family. She went through a lot. So
Yes.
I've realized a lot of these things, when especially in cases of women, maybe in the coaching industry, I've come across a lot of women. I understand the element that it's not really good to suppress and hold back your emotions as well, the emotional release. So she actually suffered a little bit about in that area as well, and I can see it visibly in her health, and I do what I can to help her out. But
Yes.
there's a lot of people out there, a lot of women, a lot of men as well, in front of their managers, even the men, in front of their managers, they don't express and stuff. What can they do, like one or two things, not to hold back? Like I remember in my industry where I was working before being a coach, uh, I was in a customer service industry, right? So customer
Yes.
service, people come and they put everything on the customer service guy, right?
Yeah.
As the anger or the frustration or the complaint. So I used to have a mechanism for myself, not to get affected by this. But I want to know from your view and your point of view, what could be the one or two things that people can either release the emotions or not get affected with what is coming their way, so that they don't build up this bad emotions or negative emotions.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, emotions, all emotions are is energy in motion, right? We're all made
Yes.
up of them. There's no such thing as a bad emotion or a good emotion.
Got it.
That's the first thing. You know, even like with my mother, I feel, you know, she held on to a lot of anger and she also wasn't able to speak up. And
Mm,
then that causes a dis-ease in your body. And you're
true.
rightly said, you know, it affects your wellness. And
Yes.
I think that's another reason why I'm really keen to share with others. You know, how can how can you deal with your emotions? How can you master them so they don't take over your life? So when we have a situation, you know, where we're in the workplace or something, we don't just blow up, or we
Yeah.
don't just repress ourselves and then
Right.
feel really bad later.
Right.
So some of the, it really sounds very simple what I'm going to say, but it's very easy. It's just about taking a moment to really stop and just
Right.
become aware. Journaling is fabulous, for just
Okay.
tracking where you are day to day.
Right.
How are you feeling? What makes you feel a certain way as
Mm.
well?
Right.
So you may have had a conversation with somebody and that might have triggered something in you.
Mm.
So I think that's where it all starts. You become aware of what is it that's, what's causing this.
Right.
And even simple things like, if you wake up one morning and sometimes you feel a bit low, then
Mm.
don't just ignore it and get on with your day. Actually sit with yourself and say, what is it? Where do I feel this in my body? Because
Mm.
your body will never lie to you. Your
True.
body is the barometer of your soul. And I think
Wow.
that's what people are missing. They are actually missing this link to, because obviously it's all mind, body, and soul, but we are all interconnected. So people come to me, sometimes with a presenting physical issue
Mm.
or a mental issue, but it's always the body that never lies. So
Right.
that's what I'd say. I would sit with the body and ask yourself, where, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it?
Right.
And then
Awesome.
just allow yourself to feel it with no judgment of it and
Mm.
no story to it, please. Because a lot of people, they say, oh, and this
Makes sense.
happened and that happened and this
Right.
happened. And I say,
Right.
okay, I'm not interested in the story of it.
Right.
Just be with the emotion now. And then you notice, once you get comfortable with learning how to feel, and that's not natural for a lot of people, by the way,
Oh yeah.
because
True.
especially if you've lived a life where you've been shut down
Mm.
continuously,
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard. And I think with me, I was also very shut down as a child.
Wow.
I was actually taught that anger is not safe. If you speak up, you'll get hurt.
Wow.
It's those kind of, I've been brought up like that. So for me, it was very hard to express myself. And I think that only got easier because, over time I was willing to do the inner work, and
Got it.
sit with what is it, and question myself and
Right.
go through that and have almost dialogues,
Right.
like I'm saying, whether it's out, yeah, I'm not even talking dialogues with people. You
Mm-hmm.
can even have a dialogue, out in an open space with yourself,
True.
uh, just to empty out what's going
Exactly.
on.
That's one of the technique that I used to apply from my customer relation work.
Wow.
There are two techniques that I used to. One of the technique that I used to use is I used to call it as an umbrella technique, right? I
Yes.
used to imagine that there is an umbrella in front of me, in between me and the client or the customer who's venting it out, and everything what he's saying is being deflected out, is on going on from the umbrella. And like the rain, right? When you hold the
Yes.
umbrella in the rain, you don't get wet. Everything goes on the
Yes.
sides. So that's one
Exactly.
mental thing that I used to practice. The other thing that I used to go and release, I used to have dialogue, and I used to go back down to my cabin, and I would just vent it out. I would just, blast it out, abuse, do whatever I have to do to release all those emotions. These are the two techniques that I used to use.
That's
By the way,
amazing.
just to let the listeners know as well. And you shared some amazing nuggets. And the point to summarize your answer basically. So you're saying that what a person needs to on a daily or a weekly basis, or whenever he gets time and he's not feeling, um, you
Oh,
know
daily, I would
daily,
say.
yes, sorry, daily.
Yeah.
Daily, at the end of the day, like I do something called a reflection activity at the end of the day. Like,
Yes.
so
Yes.
happened during the day, what are the great memories, what were not so good memories. I focus on the brilliant memories, so I can revisit them, relive them, and stack them properly in my mind, so that I can pick it out whenever I'm low or something like that. So I'm kind of an introspection. Similarly, you're saying that one should daily introspect as to what happened in a certain situation, how did it feel, and what did I do about it, and did it make me feel good, did it make me feel lighter, did it make me feel heavier, what are the consequences and stuff like that. That's a good beginning, right?
Yeah, and just to actually not feel scared to feel it, because I
Yeah.
think that's a lot of
Okay.
people don't do that.
Yeah.
They think
Yeah.
they're weak, oh my
True.
God, if I cry and I feel this, but I'm actually saying the opposite here. I'm saying you should feel your emotions. You should be like a child.
Right.
Children don't think twice. If
Exactly.
they fall down and get hurt, they'll cry for a while, but they'll get back up.
True.
And I think that's what, as adults growing up,
Yeah.
we've been conditioned that it's, you shouldn't
Yeah.
cry, you shouldn't express.
Yeah.
So, just be like a child again. That's what I'm
Awesome.
saying.
Awesome. And short, a simple and a beautiful answer. Neela, we have almost come to the end of this conversation, and thank you so
That's
much for your
okay.
time that you have given us. And I'm sure it's going to opened so many doors in in people's mind who are listening out there, to get the value out of it and apply these things. The last question before we leave, I want to ask you, what is that one thing that you really want to change or help people change about themselves? Like, what is that one thing that you really think, what, this is such a phenomenal thing that people can do or create in their life and change their life and transform their life? What is that one thing that you would love to gift people?
Yeah, so I believe I can't change anyone. Like I said,
True, true,
people have to change themselves.
true.
All I can say is if you just take a look around you today, look at the people in your life, love more,
Mm,
be somebody. I think for me, my whole vision is, my mission is to really inspire people so that they can, know who they are within. They can really connect back to that love, and then they can radiate that out onto everybody, because then
super.
we'd have such a harmonious world, right?
Right,
And the
right.
other thing I wanted to share was, obviously, you're a clarity coach,
Yes.
and we talked about emotion. So there was something
Yes.
that I wanted to share, that that those tears, they may sometimes blur your vision, okay,
Yeah.
but they will also wash your eyes clean,
Yeah.
and you will see things with astonishing clarity
Yeah.
once you really allow yourself, to to um, wash away your eyes,
True.
and see, because sometimes we can get very lost, and we are all human, and emotions, I believe, are very powerful. So it's okay if you've got a few tears in your eye. It may be a bit blurry for a while, but you'll get through it. You'll be able to see clearly once again.
Awesome. What a beautiful metaphor. And the earliest metaphor that you gave, your body is the barometer of your soul. That's so
Yes,
powerful. Thank you so much, Neela. Last but
thank
not the
you.
least, where can people find you, if they have to
So,
find and connect with you?
yes. So I've got a fan page on Facebook, which is
Okay.
Neela Gohil at Bridge the Love Gap. And
Bridge
I'm
the
also
love
on,
gap.
yeah, and I'm
Okay.
also on YouTube, Neela Gohil there. I'm on
Awesome.
LinkedIn, so I'm on a few spaces, and yeah, and hopefully watch out for my book. It hopefully should be completed by the end of the year, fingers crossed. I didn't believe, editing takes such a long time, but we
But
will get there. Yeah.
yes, yes, I am certain we will get there, and we will have a lot of wisdom in your book. And I wish and hope and pray that your book does phenomenally well and impacts a lot of people, and you keep growing in this mission that you have taken up. Even I am on a mission. My mission with this podcast, with this publication work, I have not shared you, and I think it's an opportunity for me
Yes.
to share as well. By
Please
20th
do.
20th April 2023, I want to reach out or impact 3 million people at least through the publishing work that I'm doing, including the podcast. So please share, like, subscribe,
Wow.
everyone. And thank you so much, Neela. It's been an amazing, amazing and overdue conversation, which
Yeah.
I should say this. And it's been a pleasure talking to you,
Thank
and
you so
keep
much,
spreading the
Irfan.
love.
You are amazing, and I want people to know how amazing you are. You're such an authentic person. I think, I've
Thank
loved
you.
hearing about your travel stories as well. I
Thank you.
really also want to wish you the greatest luck on your mission. May you touch many and transform many lives. So thank you so much for this
Thank you,
time.
bro.
Amazing.
Thank you. All
And
the
yeah,
best.
and live an
Yes.
amazing life, guys.
Yes. 100%.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Bye bye. Thank you.